Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. We're going to be taking a look at Luther Burden. So I've covered, I want to say probably like 5 quarterbacks that's coming out this draft class. So now I done swapped over to receiving. I think I'm kind of going to bounce around like that. But for this video specifically, obviously you can see this is Mr. Luther Burden. So, man, the first thing that stands out to me, first play, that's how I know this is going to be a good one, is I'm looking at the situation. So you have a game where they're down. It's 4th and 5, right? And I say, look at the situations. So if you're a guy that we're going to you on 3rd down and we're going to you on 4th down, that tells you what? You are the guy. You are a playmaker. We have faith in you whenever we need to make something happen. You are who we going to. Like I always say, it's easy to make plays on 1st down. It's easy to make plays on 2nd down. But being able to make plays on 3rd down and if needed, making plays on 4th down shows the difference, between players. It shows you who the real playmakers are. So on this play right here, man, he just really beat him from the release. I mean, he released, stacked him, and the defender never really had a chance at getting him. Now, I always say, what do you do after the ball? You know what I mean? Now, it's easier to catch the ball. I ain't gonna just necessarily say it's easy to catch the ball, but what I mean by that is that catching the ball is only one phase of it. What can you do after you get the ball in your hands is a big question, and there's a lot of receivers that can catch the ball, but can't really do much with after they catch the ball with the ball in their hands. And so far I've seen with him with catching the ball and then being able to take a catch that could have just been maybe a 20 some yard catch, but to be able to take it and make it a touchdown is something that a lot of receivers don't possess. The game of football has evolved so much over the last few years, probably over the last decade, that I think now one of the biggest words that we have to take into consideration whenever we're evaluating guys and watching guys is versatility. So it's like the game has evolved so much now that there's no one position anymore, so to speak. And what I mean by that is like when you think about running backs. When you think about running backs now, a traditional running back, just a traditional power running back that takes the ball in the I formation and run the ball up the middle again. That position doesn't really exist anymore. As a running back in today's game, you have to be able to pass catch. And it's just like even with a receiver in today's game. As a receiver, I think, and it makes it very difficult to double team, right? So if you got a guy like, let's take Luther Burden, for example, that's a good receiver, right? If I'm a defensive coordinator going into a game, my mentality is we have to find a way to take him out the game. So if he lines up predominantly outside the numbers, play after play after play, it's a lot easier for me to key in and focus on him. But if he's lining up outside the numbers, if he's lining up in the slot, if he's lining up kind of close where the tight end will line up on the line of scrimmage, if he's lining up in the backfield, it makes it very, very difficult for us to try to key in on him and double team him because we never really know where he's lining up at and he never has a set spot. And based off of his size, I don't see him just being a traditional outside the numbers receiver. I see him being a guy that operates on the outside, operates from the slot. So far, we saw him operate from the slot. So far, we've seen him operate from the slot again, or from the other side, coming across the field like a jet sweep pretty much, and being able to take the ball the distance for a touchdown. But then it also shows that, once again, it goes back to what can you do once the ball is in your hands, right? What can you make plays when the ball is in your hands? Yards after the catch, and can we incorporate you into the run game? Let's say if we got a good team that's focused on taking our running back out the equation. Now we have to find a way to compensate for what we're gonna lack because of how they're gonna play us with him. Now when we have a guy like this, it makes it very versatile, and now they have to respect it, and now they have to kind of take what he can do into consideration, and it doesn't really allow them to focus in on taking our running back or our running game out the picture. So versatility for me is everything, and so far he's shown versatility. Like I said, lining up in the slot on one side, scoring a touchdown, and then lining up as a receiver on the outside, and then coming from a jet sweep and taking the ball the distance for a touchdown. So we got another one of those gotta have it moments. You see it's 3rd down. We got to get it. We got to have it. We got to make the play. We got to move the ball. And once again, he comes in a clutch as well as always. So it looks like I think they had him lined up in the slot. So most of his damage that I've seen, he has been lined up in the slot. So it's kind of been in between the numbers, more so outside, not necessarily meaning he can't do damage outside, but that's just what they're using him with. And especially with his size, I figured that, like I say, he's going to be moving around more so than just kind of being stationary, which is always good. Once again, like I say, because it allows, it prevents defenses from really just being able to key in on you and double team you. But once again, you know, man, when a play was needed, he was able to make the play. The biggest thing on this for me was just being able to adjust to the ball, to be able to play the ball in the air for one, which is showing ball skills, and then being able to adjust. So when we say catch radius, I think a lot of people think that which catch radius necessarily means length and size. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, being a longer receiver or a longer player, obviously, yeah, it does give you more room and much more of a catch radius. But that doesn't necessarily mean just because you're a smaller receiver that you don't have the same catch radius. It's all about being able to adjust your body to whatever the situation is necessary. So if you look at it, it was a different angles from where he was looking at the ball from the opposite side and then was able to adjust to the other side to make that touchdown catch. And, you know, I mean, that's something that's very difficult to do, especially in the heat of the game, especially in a critical situation like this, when we have to make a play, and being able to make a play under that pressure, it just shows his playmaking ability. We got another guy to have a situation. So this was an overtime. I'm not quite sure if this won the game or what. I think it actually tied the game up. I think they were down 20-27. I'm not quite sure if this was the first possession that they had from a good return or what. But as you can see, it looks like they might have had him lined up in the slot on the other side and sent him in motion. Once again, what did I say makes him so good, or what did I say that is an addition to him? And that's his versatility, being able to operate from multiple positions, making it almost impossible to double team him. So it allows you to put him in those one-on-one situations, because you can line him up here, send him in motion, and now it's like we got to either call a timeout, or we just got to just believe that our defender can stick with him enough. And as you can see on this play right here, it wasn't necessarily bad defense by the corner, but you got to kind of know the situation. And if you don't have any over-the-top help, you probably can't give up anything over the top. And it does look like right here, he didn't necessarily have over-the-top help. And it kind of looks like they kind of put the safeties in a compromising position when they ran the other guy right here, and he made that cut. You see the other safety jumped on top of that one, and the other one tried to cut under him to come give him support over the top. And at that point, it was too late. And once again, man, like I say, it's just a slew of him making plays, man. It's a different story when you're seeing a catch on first down, second down, and not discrediting that. But when you're seeing catches on third down, fourth down, catches that's leading to touchdowns, catches in those gotta-have-it situations, man, that's the sure sign that you're dealing with a playmaker. Once again, you see on this play right here, his catch radius was shown on display. Like I said, you know, a lot of people probably think that being a bigger receiver has to do, you know, with having a large catch radius, and obviously having longer limbs, will give you much more of a catch radius just because of the fact that your limbs are longer than smaller guys. But a lot of times it's all about, can you adjust your body to catch the ball? And you have to understand one thing, right? Every pass is not going to be perfect, right? I don't care if it's Patrick Mahomes. I don't care if it's Tom Brady. I don't care if it's Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, or whatever. Every pass is not going to be perfect. It's a lot of variables that plays a part. This isn't 7-on-7. You got pressure. You got defensive linemen. You got linebackers. You got corners possibly coming off of blitzes. So most quarterbacks are trying to get the ball out their hands. So sometimes it might lead to poorly thrown balls. It might lead to balls being underthrown. It might lead to balls being overthrown. But you have to be able to track the ball in the air, just as he did here, and adjust your body necessary to make the catch. And he does a great job at that. Here you have another one of those gotta have it moments. It's a 3rd and 3, and this play isn't nothing special. This just speaks volumes to him as a player. So he just ran a simple little hitch, quarterback get the ball to him and you get the ball to him quick, and you allow him to just be him and make a play, make yards after the catch, make plays with the ball in his hand, and that's what he does. And if you notice, the thing that kind of stood out to me once again, like I said, most of his damage he's doing is between the numbers, and like I say, that kind of stems from him lining up in the slot more so than outside. I don't think I've seen him lined up to the outside yet at all, but right here he does a very good job at setting up defenders and hitting them with a move. Right, watch, here you go, bam, come back. He finna set up the other guy too. Bam, come back. So he has him leaning. He get him leaning one way, and he just pops it back the other way. And it's almost like whenever you're looking at a boxer, how a boxer utilizes his feints to try to set up a power punch or to set up a shot. That's kind of the equivalent of what you're seeing on the football field with him leaning, getting defenders thinking he's going one way and pop it back the other. All right, we got another guy to have a moment, another 3rd and 4. So that's one of the things I've been loving about watching his highlights is seeing that they're putting the right plays in there. You know, you're looking at a lot of these plays that he's making, they're coming on 3rd down when we need those plays the most. You know what I mean? Obviously, on 1st down, a lot of times you might be conservative, maybe run the ball. And if second down, maybe run the ball or even do some type of short pass. But then when you find yourself in a situation where we have to move the sticks to keep the offense on the field, to keep our defense on the field, those 3rd down conversions are very, very vital. And he's, you know, I would call him Mr. 3rd down. I mean, because every time you look up and it's a play that he's making, it's a 3rd down play. A lot of this is touchdowns, you know what I mean, that he's doing on 3rd down. Like you have it again right here. For whatever reason, I don't understand why teams keep playing him one-on-one. That's one of those situations on third and 4, right? It's down in distance. You have to understand, okay, who is their playmaker? Who hands do they want that ball to be in those gotta have it moments? And this guy comes to mind. So I don't understand why they're not taking conservative efforts to try to take him out the game. But once again, there was just another good route concept as a whole. They was trying to kind of set a natural pick to kind of make the defender that was holding him kind of hesitate, but he was able to run some type of little out fake and then cut back inside, which was a pretty good route. And then after he catch the ball, you know, that's when he's most dangerous with the ball in his hands. And I mean, he makes one guy miss, makes another guy miss there. And then I like the fact that when he went to go finish, how he lowered his pad level and protect the ball. That way they wouldn't have opportunities to strip it. So this is going to be the last play that I'm going to cover. So right here, it's just a simple, you know, touchdown in the red area. He comes from his receiver position, comes through the backfield, takes the handoff directly from the quarterback and runs it in for a touchdown. But here's the thing. That's the thing about him is that he's so versatile. He's like a Debo. You know, he can line up. I seen him more so predominantly in a slot more. I seen him kind of doing most of his work in the slot, which, you know, obviously the slot position is very vital because when you're in the slot position, you have so much more that you can do route wise and space wise because you don't have to worry about that sideline. As an outside receiver, it's only so much you can do. And then from a strategical standpoint, when you got a guy that you could place in so many different spaces, it's very hard to double team him and key in on him. Now, obviously, like I was saying on the previous clip, that in those gotta have it moments, you already know who the ball is going to. Now, as a defensive coordinator, we would have defenses, in my opinion, schemed directly for that, to where wherever he's at, we got to key in on him and find some way to take him out the equation. Because if we can key in on him and remove him from being that catalyst to keep things going, to keep these drives extended, you put yourself in a good position. But then when you have a guy like that that can do so many different things, now it gives you so many different options from a from a scheme standpoint. Like, you know, like I was saying, I don't know if I said that in this video, another video, when you think about a boxer, think about how with a boxer, the lead hand, whatever it is, their jab hand, whether they're southpaw and orthodox, a lot of times that's all for a setup, you know, to get you looking at one thing and it hit you with the other. But if it's so lethal, if my lead hand is so lethal, you have to take it into consideration, even when I feint it or fake it or don't put a whole bunch of power behind it to try to set something else up. That's the thing with him. When you get down in the red area where things become a lot more clustered, now you got a guy that is a playmaker with the ball in his hands. So now you can run fakes. Now you can run little sweeps like this where you can either give them the ball or not give them the ball and keep the defense guessing, and it puts them in a very difficult position to try to figure out exactly what it is you're doing. So when you have a guy that's that versatile, even in I seen that he even contributed to special teams on one play It was a punt. It was a punt return. I was gonna put it in there, but I was like, I mean, it wasn't really no big game. But I'm just saying, for him to be able to do that, and you never know, that might be something he might be doing depending on whatever NFL team he goes to. So I'm interested to see his growth. And then one thing too that stands out to me, he's actually he's physical for a smaller guy. Obviously, you know, you see the elusiveness, you see the shiftiness, him making guys miss. But whenever he needs to, he don't mind dropping his shoulder down and trying to run something over. And then also going to a fundamental standpoint, whenever you come into contact of being tackled, lower your pad level. That gives you a added layer of protection from guys when they trying to punch that ball out or strip that ball out, you know. So he does a pretty good job at finishing plays. But like I said, man, that's it for this video. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that notification bell where you be notified every time I upload. And I'll see y'all in the next video.